snap it, and it's Trey Burton who throws caught. Foles, touchdown.
Here he goes. It's Hester. Inside the 30. Hester's going to take it all the way for a touchdown.
Fields stumbling, trying to cut it back. Justin Fields making magic happen. There goes Fields. Touchdown!
Hurts on first down, fires downfield. It's Deshaun Jackson back in the lineup. Missed the last 7 games, and he will take it 81 yards. A somersault into the end zone. His first touchdown of the season.
You're listening to The Pigskin Project, the world's #1 football podcast. Now, with more insights on all things football, here are your hosts, Ben Hansen and Ryan Matthews. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Pigskin Project. I guess I should welcome myself back to The Pigskin Project.
Nice to have you on the podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on my podcast.
It feels good to be back. You guys had a little bit of a long one last week. That was
it always runs long when Ryan comes on. Yeah.
So I apologize to everybody else because I completely forgot that I had a concert to go to last week. And it was just completely completely forgot that I was doing that. So, literally let Matt and Ben know, literally last minute, I want to say on Tuesday night, hey, I'm going to need some assistance here. So I'm back. It feels good to be back, especially after the Bears win. The Bears looked actually competent, so leave it up to the Panthers to get that done. That's a tough task. And then, I couldn't really ask much more. For football this past weekend, it was profitable as well. Probably my best weekend for sports gambling. That was crazy. Paid off all my credit cards with that too. So set up right before we move in, and I'm pretty good. So Ben, how are you doing though, buddy? It's good to see you.
I'm trying to hang in there. High hopes for my Phillies. For them to thank you. High hopes for the Phillies, just for them to win one game. I can't be too mad. I should have expected this out of the Phillies. I should have expected this out of Philadelphia. But here I am, just mad again. And then when it inevitably happens with the Sixers, and when it inevitably happens with the Eagles, I'll be just as mad, even though I should expect it the second time. And I was talking, and I'd love to get your side of the debate here before we get into actual football here. I was talking with a couple other friends about how it sucks to be a Philadelphia fan. And they said, well, we would rather be Philadelphia fans than Chicago fans because they're Chicago fans. And I said, I think, yeah, go Hoosiers, baby. But I would rather be a Chicago fan than Philadelphia. You guys have a future, and not that we're good now, but the thing is you guys don't have expectations. So if you guys lose,
I disagree. Yeah,
no,
thank you, Kyle.
I would no. I have to deal with the Sixers and the Flyers. Go Flyers. Michkov is going to be great for that team, but I have expectations every year of deep playoff runs, and every year they disappoint me. I honestly couldn't tell you which one I'm more. Well, that's not true. I was gonna say I couldn't tell you which one I was more angry about, my Eagles or my Phillies, but it was definitely the Eagles. But it was that same exact thing. They collapse near the end of the season, and then you go into the playoffs, and you absolutely just poop the bed. And I'm sick of it. The only thing holding me together is the thought of Paul George with Joel Embiid. But if Joel Embiid can't make it to a conference finals because he's yet to do that, I don't know where I'm going to stand with any team in this. But at least I have my Hoosiers.
We can discuss this a little bit. I will tell you right now. First off, you're the only Philly fan that I like, so you should have that going for you. Second off,
it's not saying much. A lot of Philadelphia
Philly fans suck.
So. No, they're not. Yeah,
I I think Chicago fans have had it bad for a very long time. I mean, you're talking all of Philly versus all of Chicago. I mean, Jerry owns 2 of those teams, right? And have just absolutely drove them into the ground when the White Sox and the Bulls. Obviously, the Cubs are not historically known for winning at all. The Bears have only won 1 championship since they're the oldest franchise in the NFL.
So have the Eagles.
The Bears are the oldest in the NFL, though. I mean, you talk about this, and it kind of irks me because you at least have the expectation of seeing playoff action. And
I would rather not have the expectation at all and just have it be subpar than get your hopes up every year and nothing happens from it.
I'd rather have hope every year.
I would not. Well,
because
maybe. Well,
I'm an optimistic guy, and Chicago sports have definitely built some kind of character for me. But I too
was an optimistic guy at one point, and now I'm pessimistic. So, really, really quickly too, before we dive into football, not to cut you off there, but for those wondering, our fantasy league, I know we haven't done like an update on that. Oh, yeah. Do we want to save this until the end of the podcast? This might be better at the end of the podcast.
That's fine.
All right.
I might have another deal coming up too, by the way. So.
Yeah. No, Ryan is plug your ears, kicking ass and taking names. He's 4-1. He's tied for the best record. Here I am, 2-3.
Most points scored in our league, by the way. I'm just saying.
I'm 5-0 in the league that I care about the most, which is awesome. But me and Ryan just made a blockbuster trade. Do you want to tell them what those were real quick?
Yeah, so
this is what everyone tuned in for.
You guys can let us know, what you guys think too, just before we dive into anything. So I traded away Jameson Williams, Jared Goff, Justin Jefferson, and oh good Lord, why can't I think of this? Okay, hold on a minute. Oh. Yeah. Jared Goff, Jameson Williams, Justin Jefferson, and Ramondre Stevenson. Ben traded me, Bijan Robinson, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, and Rico Dowdle. So I like it on my side, and he gets an upgrade at wide receiver.
Ryan definitely won the trade, guys. But for context, I just all of my wide receivers are hurt. We have the ongoing joke that my running backs and I curse everyone and everything. And I did that with Pacheco already. Go me. But this year it's been wide receivers. I've been just haunted with wide receivers this year, but
it's always one.
Besides the point,
yeah, I was shocked to be able to pry away the 2 Eagles on his team, and now I have 3 Eagles. I actually have more Eagles on my team than I do Bears, so that's weird. But yeah, so I don't know. Let's dive into it. One last thing. We use StreamYard as our primary streaming source to be able to get our podcast out. Our next project, no pun intended, is to get the Pigskin Project on a different one called EV Mux because for some reason StreamYard decided, hey, we're going to charge people $45 a month to be able to stream their podcast the way that they want to stream it. And they don't understand that they're not the only podcast platform that people can use, and especially at a cheaper price as well, doing the same exact thing, if not more. So we're going to be doing that. This is our official screw you to StreamYard. Thanks for
StreamYard. We did enjoy you. We did enjoy you.
Did is the key word. I'm very upset at this, actually. So I'm taking it personally. Ben might not be, but I'm taking it personally. This sucks for broke college students like us that can't necessarily afford $45 a month for anything on top of already what we have to pay for. I'm not adding more to my slate, and I would assume that a lot of people don't want to as well. So next week, you might see a few new changes. I'm going to work on a new intro for us so that Justin Fields is no longer on there. Ben, if you want different clips and stuff for the Eagles, let me know and I can do that as well. The NFL, hey, reach out to us if it's a problem, but we're going to use your clips anyways. So
until you tell us we can't.
yeah. So let's dive into weekly news.
Ryan and Ben bring you weekly news.
All right. So Patriot safety Jabril Peppers was arrested Saturday and faces charges including strangulation and drug possession. I don't think we're going to comment too much more on that one. So,
Nope.
Just crazy. Absolutely insane. Not at all what we were expecting to come out of the news this week. So, next up, the Patriots, speaking of which, are going to start Drake May this week against the Texans. That's going to be a lot of fun. Apparently the locker room is like in shambles right now. So, this team had nothing going for it. So,
Honestly, a little surprised. We talked a little bit about that situation last week for our listeners that weren't able to tune in. I'm really scared about him behind that offensive line.
Me too.
I fully expected them to just ride with Brissett. And that's no shot at Drake. I think Drake, he was my QB2 for a reason. I really thought obviously, I had Caleb as QB1, but I thought Drake in most classes would be.
Oh, he's glitching out.
I thought they were going to sit him the entire year because that offensive line is so bad. And when you are faced with that much pressure at this young of an age, you are really forced to develop some bad habits. And I'm surprised that they're going to throw him in with how bad that offensive line is.
Now, let me ask you this, too, because one of their strong suits for Drake May coming out of college was how well he handled pressure. That, I mean, obviously you're saying that it's a little bit more of a worry, but do you anticipate him to kind of handle it better than most rookies?
Well, I mean, I think he'll be able to. I mean, that was his strong suit, but at the end of the day, I mean, you're a rookie, and it's not like it's like even a subpar offensive line. I mean, we have spent so much time talking about how bad this Bears offensive line is and have not even touched on an arguably worse offensive line than the Patriots. And it's just, I think it's going to be a rough year for him, but hopefully he doesn't, again, sit behind that offensive line and develop some bad habits. And that's my main concern for him.
Right. Next up, Bengals starting cornerback Dax Hill is feared to have suffered a season-ending torn ACL. Not good for the Bengals considering that they're kind of, I mean, I feel like they're stalling out a lot sooner than what we normally expect with this team.
Well, than what I expected. You called it, though.
I've never really been a fan of it. This Bengals team. I mean, starting way back from when they were in the Super Bowl, I feel like it was kind of a fluke run. I remember it, like how magical that run was, and the fact that they weren't able to capitalize on that might end up shooting them in the foot. Just because, I mean, I would assume that it's their one run out of the next, I'd say, decade. Wow. So. I'm saying within like the point to when they were in the Super Bowl, I don't think they're making it another time. I mean, it's at least until Patrick Mahomes is quarterback of the Chiefs. I mean, right now he's always going to be the favorite in the AFC. Josh Allen still exists, and he's still doing great things in Buffalo. So I mean, it's tough for the Bengals, who seem to be stingy as well for their payroll. It's frustrating, but. We'll see which direction this team goes, but this defense is the number one thing that consistently leaves me worried. So, and as we talk about it a little bit more, that defense taking an extra hit is not benefiting this team whatsoever. So, Raiders are hoping to trade Davante Adams sooner rather than later. Now, this is something that we talked about before the show because I might be trying to get rid of Davante Adams in fantasy because God knows how long he's going to be out for. It seems like he's played his last snap in Vegas. I'm sure you guys talked about it last week.
Hey, I'll trade you Pittman for him straight up right now.
Anyways. Good Lord. No, absolutely not. So, it's frustrating, but, we'll get to the Colts as well after this headline. Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice's season is still expected to be over, but his timeline for recovery is much shorter than originally feared to be.
I hate that. I hate it's a report saying, oh, he could be out for short, he could be out for long. Like,
Yeah.
why put anything out? Like,
Yeah.
you're fence riding at the highest degree.
Yeah. Now this one, it's a weird stat, but it's a fun one nonetheless. Colts quarterback Joe Flacco has the highest QBR in the league. Okay. So that's fun.
Played a game and a half.
Although that is factual, Anthony Richardson is expected to remain the starting quarterback, when he is healthy. I'm going to go ahead and state this claim, because I understand, it's still early and everything, but people said the same exact thing about Fields, so I'm going to go ahead and say that it's okay for me to have this take. I'm completely out on Anthony Richardson. He is not the future of Indianapolis whatsoever. Although he's a great dude, and I hope, I hope he proves me wrong. But right now, his turnover rate, the way that he runs and he doesn't slide or protect himself in any way, shape, or form. I don't see how he's improving. I understand that he's got that cannon of an arm that pass to Alec Pierce. What was that in week 1? Was incredibly impressive. But dude, it's not a good look.
It's the important thing to remember with him, though, and it's something that everyone has probably heard 10,000 times at this point when everyone brings up the Anthony Richardson conversation, is this is basically his rookie year. He played 4 games last year.
Yep.
So, you got to give him time to develop. But I do agree, his awesome arm, but when the only thing you can do is throw deep balls and run, you're not gonna get much on offense. Like, you really have to start developing, like, even just those underneath passes, like your 3 to 4 yard crossers. Like, you should be able to be hitting those at least at a semi-consistent rate. And the fact that you're not even able to do that is the part that's really concerning me. But I won't make any claims on him until the end of the season, because I really think he needs more time. He's played 7 games so far in his entire career, basically, at this point.
The NFL requires you to make quick decisions, right? So those short game passes are something that needs to be developed as soon as possible, especially if you are in a position like Anthony Richardson is in, where his offensive line might not be the most consistent. I hate to bring up the Bears again, but Caleb Williams, he's doing a fantastic job of hitting the short game, developing that, then, getting towards the middle. We'll kind of get to that as well, just because I'm very impressed. Although it's the Panthers, he still outperformed the other quarterbacks that have played against him, with the exception of Derek Carr in that offense. That was fun. But it's just not a good look for Anthony Richardson. We'll see where it goes later on this season, but as of right now, this is where I stand. So the most shocking news, I would say, out of the week is the Jets have fired head coach Robert Saleh. So this is something that I thought might happen. However, I did not expect it to happen this soon, nor did I expect Nathaniel Hackett to still have a job afterwards. Apparently, Saleh was contemplating firing Hackett before anything got done, but then Saleh didn't even get the chance to make that decision. Hackett is the problem. I think that's the widespread opinion here, but nonetheless, this team needs to get something going. They've got Aaron Rodgers for how many more years do you think? And it's just
2 years outside of this year,
if that. So they got to get something going if they want to, be able to be a playoff team, because this AFC is still very competitive. But still, firing your head coach in the middle of the season, you're 5 weeks in. I understand that it's not exactly where you want to be, but how bad is it? You're 2-3.
Doug and Nick might not be too far behind.
Well, exactly, but we thought that Doug Peterson would be the first one gone, and it's still early for that. I'm not a fan of Doug Peterson right now. I think he's doing a horrible job, and in fact, I'm more than confident that the Bears should pick up a win. But Doug Peterson started 4-1. They just picked up their first win against Indianapolis, and they're how hurt right now. Like, and they still gave up 34 points to Indy. Like, that's not a great offense, especially with Pittman out. Like, wasn't Jonathan Taylor out that game too? I want to say. So it's like,
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, they gave up scores to Pittman in the first quarter. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Majority of the points came from the fourth quarter. So I guess I understand. But nonetheless, you should not be giving up that much in a collapse. I feel like that, I mean, it's not a great place to be right now. Nonetheless,
No.
I also want to say I've never really been sold on Trevor Lawrence, and they paid him because they had to. I still don't think he's the guy. Out on him as well.
No. I mean, we had talked about that last week. He just has not lived up to anything you would have hoped. And I mean, Matt was like the leader. Matt was like the leader of that hype train. And Matt is even now like, maybe Trevor Lawrence is not that guy anymore. So
yeah, it's dangerous. Next up, I want your opinion on this too, just because I mean, although we didn't get to see him this season, it's still kind of unfortunate how it happened. But Eagles released linebacker Devin White. As an Eagles fan, what's your reaction? Knee-jerk reaction to that?
Knee-jerk reaction is absolutely nothing. I mean, from the time we had paid him in the offseason, I was not a fan of the move. Outside of his first 2 years, he did not look good. He got benched in that playoff game last year, and then it just came down to he wanted to start. He was not playing well enough to start, and since he wanted to start and wasn't starting, he was not going to take special team snaps. And if you're not going to play because you're not going to start and you're not going to take special team snaps, then you're literally just have a hole at the roster spot. And that's just what it was. He was stuck in a bad situation, and maybe he'll go somewhere and revitalize his career like the first 2 years he had come in. But the last 2.5 years of his career have not been a good look for him. So, again, he wasn't playing much, and Zach Bond had filled his gap in spades. I mean, Zach Bond has absolutely killed it thus far in the season, and Nakobe Dean has looked better than I could have hoped. I mean, I've been a certified Nakobe Dean hater, so for him to look as good as he has, I'm not too worried about it. I'm not too shocked by it either, honestly.
Yeah, no, I get you. Quarterback Derek Carr is expected to miss multiple weeks with an oblique injury. The good news out of it, though, is that Spencer Rattler will be starting in his place, making his first NFL start. This is going to be really interesting just to see how this goes. I mean, the Saints this week are playing the Buccaneers, so I mean, it's a good team to start against, in my opinion. But we'll see exactly how this goes. The Saints team is so banged up, so it might not be the best situation to start with. But I mean, the matchup, I think, if you get a fully healthy Saints
in division, and it just.
Yeah,
I think it's a tough start for him personally, but I'm excited to see him. And I mean, right now, this is really the Saints' chance over the next couple of weeks to see if they have something in him, to see hey, once Derek Carr's contract is up, do we see enough out of Rattler to ride with him once that contract is over or not? So I'm really excited to see him. And he was fun to watch in college, that's for sure. And the way he developed that last couple of years there in South Carolina was a lot of fun.
Oh, for sure. Last but not least, and I'm going to read this the same exact way that I put it in my notes just for the jokes. I'm also very tired, so just a forewarning for this. Raiders quarterback Aiden O'Connell will start this week. Minshew hits the Binshew. I don't know. That was funny to me. But anyways, that's it for weekly news. So let's get right into our next segment.
Just when you thought it was safe to play the underdog, we put you on Upset Alert.
All right, so Upset Alert. Here's where I stand here, okay? I might not pick every one of these as normal, but I have 5 matchups that I think make this slate interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and start if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
But I also put the odds for each one of these just because I was excited to be on the podcast and I did an extra couple things. So, so the 49ers at Seahawks. Okay. This is my first one. Thursday night. This is going to be fun. 49ers are minus 192, Seahawks at plus 160. So the 12th man, right? This is a team that home field advantage plays a part in this. The 49ers are also falling apart right now. They gave up a massive lead to the Cardinals this past week, and now you're looking at a Seahawks team that's hungry after they fell to the New York Giants this week. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying it could. But I wouldn't put your money on it. All right. But, 49ers, man, they look horrible. Next up, this is unbelievable for me. Cardinals at Packers. Packers are minus 230 on draft.
230 is a lot. I mean, I expect the Packers to be favored, but by 230 is
exactly. And my next one is just the same thing. It feels like these two games are trap games, right? Cards at plus 190. I really, really like it. I feel like Kyler, after beating the 49ers and how bad the Packers looked last week, despite the fact that they won, it could be a fun one to watch. This next one, Ben, I'm sorry. It feels like a trap game, but these odds are ridiculous. Browns.
Oh my God, the odds on this one was stupid, dude. I was going through to look at the odds. It was dumb.
So dumb. Browns at plus 350, Eagles at minus 455. You never see something like this in the NFL. Like, people are betting on the Eagles heavy. And I think it's because A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are all back. And Lane Johnson as well. So, obviously the Eagles are going up against a very banged up Browns team. But, Ben, let me ask you, what happens when you go into expectations with a win with this Eagles team, especially against teams like the Browns, where this defense is kind of okay? You know what I mean?
It's a good defense. I would love to say I disagree with you, but they were one of my 5 teams on upset alert as well. So,
next one, again, crazy odds. Commanders at plus 235, Ravens minus 290. Now look, I was not a fan of the Commanders. Still don't understand how they're winning, but Terry McLaurin and Jaden Daniels looking like the matchup of the future. These two are tearing up the NFL right now. And the Ravens, man, the Ravens gonna Ravens. That's my point of view. I think, Derrick Henry has been a fantastic piece for this Ravens team. He's been able to do a lot. But the Ravens went into overtime last week when, to be honest with you, they had no reason to be in overtime against that Bengals team. I'm sorry. And I'll dive into that right now as well. Bengals at Giants. Giants at plus 142. Bengals are favored at minus 170. I hate that. I hate that.
Are you kidding me? This is another one of my 5 teams. Now you have done 4 out of my 5 teams. So.
I'm so sorry. If you tell me the Bears and Jaguars, I might drive down to slap you. Just letting you know right now. But this is it. This is it right now.
I'm going to get slapped, guys.
No way. Oh, my God.
So that's my 5th team. Might as well. Ryan had already said my 4 other teams. And the Niners, Seahawks, Commanders, Ravens, Browns, Eagles, Bengals, Giants. And then I have the Bears, Jags. I have the Bears, Jags because the Jags are coming off of their first win. And they might look to try to gain that momentum. We'll see where I pick the game, but I think Bears fans are sitting really comfortable with how this game just looked for them. And as we know with rookies, they can ebb and flow, and the Jaguars could be coming off of a game that they just won and look to gain momentum. Again, I'm not saying I'm picking the Jags to win. We'll get into it. We'll get into it in Pigskin Pick'em, but they are my 5th matchup. So,
yeah. All right, I say we just dive into it right now. What do we say?
Yeah.
You think you know football? Well, prove it. This is Pigskin Pick'em.
All right, so last week it was a pretty good one for me. Picking up not exactly where I left off because I think we tied the week prior.
I think I beat you.
You beat me by 2. Okay. So,
yeah.
After doing that, I regained that 2 points or 2 wins and 1. Ben, you and Matt tied at 6 and 8. I had a 9 and 5 record. So, solid. But overall, I'm up 5 games on you. 44 and 33 is my record. You're at 39 and 38. So,
Oh, above 500.
Yeah, you're above 500 now. You're good.
Did not start out well for me. So the fact we're above 500 at this point is success.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get you started. Thursday night, 49ers Seahawks. What are you thinking?
And this will be one of my legs here in my parlay as well. I will have the Niners winning this one. The Niners should have won that. They had lost because Jordan Mason had fumbled the football there in the fourth quarter. I'm going to have the Seahawks win this one, but this is going to be a really, really fun matchup.
You said the Seahawks?
The Niners.
The Niners. I'm sorry. Okay. Because I'm going Seahawks here.
Nah.
The secondary, I believe, is going to pick and prod at Brock Purdy. It's going to be a fun matchup. And dare I say, take the under? Whatever the under is, I want to say under on total points.
Wow.
I don't think this 49ers offense is going to have much firepower, and the Seahawks are going to be running the ball out. 49.5 is a large number to hit. Take the under for this game. I'm going to write that down just in case. 45.5, I believe is the line. Okay. Jaguars at Bears, London. You're talking Sunday morning. Dude, fun fact. So, all right, so this is cool. I don't know how familiar you are with the Barstool guys, but Barstool Chicago, they are doing like a meetup at a bar. It's Cody's Public House in Chicago, right?
Okay.
So I'm just gonna show this to the screen so you can see the guys that are there, right? This is awesome. By the way, that camera quality, the fact that you're able to see this is spectacular. But anyways, I might be going to this. I've never, I might be doing it. I've got some buddies that are going. Basically, I mean, it's going to be cool. So that's the goal, is that we're able to go. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm not going to drive all the way out to Chicago right before kickoff at 8:30. I'll probably get there around 8 o'clock. I will not drive all the way to Chicago at 8 o'clock in the morning just to lose to the freaking 1-4 Jacksonville Jaguars. We're taking that one, and I'm going to spoil some of my pigskin payout as well. Take the alternate spread, Bears -6.5 at plus 185. Do it. Pound it.
I wish that's how that worked for you, Ryan. But I do agree with you. I do think the Bears are going to win. Only if that's how that worked. Since Ryan drove all the way out to Chicago, the Bears won't lose. But you are playing in London. Jags are London's team. Again, they're looking to build momentum. I think this game might be closer than what you're giving it credit for.
I really doubt that it's going to be that. They picked up some much needed confidence. And I'll be honest with you, the one thing I'm terrified of is going into the bye week with a loss. That's probably the worst, not the worst, but one of the worst feelings in the regular season is going into the bye week with a loss. Let's just hope that
Thanks, Ryan.
I mean, you could tell me how it is, right? Anyways, Cardinals at Packers. I'm taking the Cardinals. What do you think?
I'm taking the Pack.
Gross. Jordan Love looks awesome. I mean, awful. Sorry, not awesome. Browns at Eagles. I'm taking the Eagles.
Yeah, I'm taking the Eagles as well. I had already said it before, but if the Eagles manage to lose this game, obviously I've been calling for them the entire season at this point, but the Eagles lose or manage to lose this game, and Nick Sirianni is still the head coach.
Yeah,
I may just boycott the team and just not watch. I still root for him, obviously, but just not watch them play because I'm gonna get sick. And like Deshaun Watson has genuinely looked like the worst quarterback in all of football, and that's saying something because Will Levis is playing.
Side note: Nick Chubb, limited participant in this week's practice. That's fun.
Yeah,
Good for him.
I think yes, it's gonna be fun, man. But it's if they manage to lose to the Browns, it's gonna be rough because Deshaun Watson has looked bad, and Lord knows this will be the one game that he decides
This
to
is
look
why.
like prime Tom Brady.
This is why you shouldn't lose to the Browns. All of these. This is the injury report for the Cleveland Browns this week. That's like, I'm not even going to bother counting that. That has to be at least a quarter of the roster.
So the big ones to look at are the DNPs, right?
Yeah.
So you go and you look at Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper is going to play. That was not. It clearly says not injury related. Grant Delpit with the concussion. We'll see how that one goes. He probably will not play. Foreman, not too worried about him. Myles Garrett. If Myles Garrett does not play and we still lose the game, it's well, and then you go all the way to the bottom at the hamstring injury there with Denzel Ward too. Yeah. I didn't throw it in my parlay, but guys, because odds aren't out, take the list or take the over on Hurts passing yards this game. I'm begging you guys to do it. They've had 2 weeks to prepare now. The secondary is hurt. Take the over on his passing yards. Again, it has not come out yet for what those odds are, but please take it.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, man, it feels like a trap game for some reason.
Yeah,
don't
want to talk about it.
Commanders and Ravens. What are you thinking?
I think Commanders winning this one right now, dude. The Jane Daniels is red hot. He's absolutely scorching. You talked about it on this one. The Ravens are coming off of a high and an overtime victory against the Bengals.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be a fun game to watch, and I'm gonna call my shot. I think the Commanders are gonna win.
I'm gonna pick the Ravens here. I feel like it's a safer pick. And I know not all the time it, is the right pick, but I feel like Derrick Henry is gonna tear apart their run defense. So that's where I'm headed. Texans and Patriots. Oh boy. Ben?
Texans by a mile.
Yeah.
Texans by a lot. We know how I feel about rookie quarterbacks in their first game. So
yeah. I'm taking the Texans as well. Bucks and Saints, rookie quarterbacks first game, right?
Yes, Bucks.
Colts and Titans. What do you think?
Are we going to allow me to throw stipulations in this?
No,
I don't even care. Even with no stipulations, Titans are winning this one.
Titans, okay.
There's way too many injuries on this Colts team.
Right now, Jonathan Taylor, Trey Sermon, Braden Smith, Michael Pittman, and Josh Downs are the only ones that did not participate. Everybody else was either a limited participant or practiced in full.
Josh Downs and Michael Pittman and Jonathan Taylor all not playing and all being DNPs did not practice are all killers. I mean, that is 3 out of your 5, pass catchers or skill position guys that are not playing. Mm-hmm. And right now, I don't know what the news is on Anthony Richardson, but Anthony Richardson, as we had already previously discussed not 10 minutes ago, has not looked good. And if you take away his run game, and did you say Trey Sermon was hurt too?
Mm-hmm.
Trey Sermon's their backup running back. So now they're going to go to their third string running back. Like, it's just for a quarterback who's already been struggling, the number one thing you do is try to dominate on the ground, and you can't do that with both your starting running back and your backup running back. Or Titans are winning this one.
I'm taking the Colts. I'm going to do it. I still feel like the Titans are a bad football team. And until I'm proven wrong,
definitely think so.
Chargers and Broncos. I'm going Broncos. What do you think?
I'm going Chargers. I'm going Chargers.
Chargers. All right. Steelers Raiders. I'm going Steelers.
I'm going Steelers too. I mean, we had talked about it, and it was something in the notes that I had added. You had said the Cowboys look bad, and you're not sold on Justin Fields. Has any of that changed after seeing the Steelers and the Cowboys play against each other on Monday night?
Absolutely not.
Night?
Nothing changed there. No. Justin Fields, I mean, still hope the best for him. I think he's still got a lot of stuff that he has to iron out. Cowboys looked awful. I mean, couldn't get anything. By the way, target CD Lamb more. Like, he's CD Lamb.
Dude. He had gotten into it a little bit with Dak Prescott near the end of the game there too, man.
Good Lord, man. Like, I don't know. Anyways, Lions and Cowboys. Evidently just bashed the Cowboys for that. I'm going Lions here. They're off the bye, should be healthy. Cowboys look like crap. And then now we're going to have to start having a conversation again about Mike McCarthy. And then Jerry Jones is, I mean, still stupid for not making any free agent moves. So, yeah.
Well, imagine how much different it would be if they actually went out and signed Derrick Henry, the dude that they were targeting the entire time.
Yeah.
Anyways, yep. I couldn't have said any better. The Lions are winning this one.
Yeah. Falcons, Panthers. I'm going Panthers. Just kidding. They looked awful. Falcons look great.
Falcons, dude, especially after the back of that Thursday night game where they just let Kirk just sling the rock, 500 passing yards, or over 500 passing yards, and he really distributed to everyone. And Drake, coming off of the back of a podcast where me and Matt had mentioned that this offense has not gotten anything going, you know, the double touchdown games for both Mooney. Well, it was a double touchdown game for Mooney, a touchdown for Drake London, a touchdown for Hodges, a touchdown for Ray McLeod. Like, they were getting everyone involved. It was this offense is humming right now. Falcons.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. So let's see. All right. Bengals and Giants. I'm going with the Bengals. As much as I hate that pick, I have to.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat with you.
Bills and Jets. Jets just fired their head coach I feel like this is just a horrible time to do it. When is their bye week? Like, why wouldn't you just wait until your bye week, right?
Yeah, I agree. Again, the Bills coming off of 2 really bad weeks. I think they're going to look to try to bounce back this week. Bills are winning this one. The big thing with the Bills, though, man, we had talked about since he's come into the league, Josh Allen being very turnover-prone quarterback. He is now the only quarterback to have started all 5 games without throwing an interception. He's looking a lot better this year, man.
Aaron Rodgers, bad at football, by the way. That was horrible.
Bad.
That was horrible. I mean,
yeah,
terrible showing. So yeah, I'm not surprised. Anyways,
no.
So now we go into our next segment, and by the way, can't wait to update you guys on how those predictions go. I think there were a lot of fun ones there. So, anyways, let me find. There we go.
They say winning isn't everything, and that may be true in some cases. But right now, let's make some money. It's time for Pigskin Payout.
All right, so Pigskin Payout. I already spoiled one of mine, so I'm gonna go ahead and just tell you the rest of it. So I did alt spread Bears -6.5 at +185. I did alt spread Cardinals -2.5 against the Packers +224. So as long as they win by a field goal, that's good. Commanders +6.5. That's the normal spread. Is -112. So I like that a lot. I feel like the run game is going to be going a bunch, and Jaden's going to be able to keep up with it a little bit too. Buccaneers and Saints over 41.5 total points at -108. And those 4 altogether, the parlay is +3266. So lots of money to be made there if it were to hit. So go with it. Do it.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, I'd already spoiled one of my picks in that Niners money line, obviously. But yeah, I have Texans alt spread at -2.5, so just win by a field goal. That's -265, as it should be. I mean, that's a pretty safe bet, and it's as safe as a bet can get. But as we'll go over in a little bit, not all bets are safe. But and then again, Niners money line -178, Bills money line -142, and then the Titans money line at -134. That brings the odds up to 540, $10 to win $64. So not as big of a payout as Ryan, but a little bit more safe than Ryan's.
We're swinging for the fences here, man. I mean,
that's just after your week of college football.
Not just college football, man. Well, I kept going with NFL. It
was
crazy.
Well, I'll mention why I say that with college football here in a bit. So.
Anyways, all right, let's go ahead and get into our next segment. As you just noticed, let's see here.
Pro football isn't the only game in town. Let's take a stroll to Ben's College Corner.
I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh, what a freaking week of football. It was funny coming off the backs of me and Matt saying like, hey, not like any like super amazing games to watch, but college football will always find a way to keep you engaged. Bama lost to Vandy in a game in which they did not lead literally at all for a second. They led for 0 seconds the entire game. Number 1 ranked Bama, mind you. And it's crazy to see. And this is why college football is just a crazy mistress. You will see them go and beat Georgia, have a crazy game, be ranked number 1, and then turn around and lose to what is historically the worst team in all of the SEC. It was a lot of fun to watch. It was fun, guys. Ashton Jeanty continues to be the Heisman favorite for a reason. It's wild. 186 yards, 3 touchdowns. That puts his total through 5 games at 1,031 yards. So through 5 games, he has rushed for 1,000 yards. That is more than what Michigan has even passed for. Absolutely wild. And he's doing all of that on only 95 carries. For those who can't do the math there or do the quick math on that, he's averaging 10.9 yards per carry. That is almost 11 yards. Absolutely wild. And then you add on his touchdowns, which is 16 on the season. That's averaging just over 3 touchdowns a game. I understand how amazing or like what Travis Hunter is doing. What Travis Hunter is doing is mostly unprecedented outside of like 2 other guys in the history of college football playing both ways, playing like 95% of the snaps of the entire game. But Ashton Jeanty is the best college football player. Just no one is arguing that at this point. He is very, very, very good. And it's going to be really, really interesting to see where he ends up landing in the NFL. It is a lot of fun.
Is he draft eligible after this?
Yeah, he'll be coming out this year. So
nice. Okay.
Again, I said it on last podcast, guys, do not let Jim Harbaugh get a hold of him. It's gonna be really, really scary if he does.
Yeah.
That's besides the point. Here's the one game that I've kind of been teasing a little bit here. But Miami storms back against Cal. I probably should have picked better words with everything going on in Miami or Florida. But Miami, gosh, no pun intended. Promise you guys, we'll touch on that actually. Thoughts and prayers go out to everyone in Florida right now. Some really, really scary stuff. Hopefully everyone's staying safe. But Miami at one point was down 35-10 against Cal going into the second half. And me, you, and Matt were all in there. We're staying up to watch that game, the Zona game, watching the fights. And at halftime, Ryan was like, guys, Miami is at plus 1,100 right now. Do you guys think I should bet them? And we're like, no, don't do it. That's stupid. Don't do that. And I'll stand by it. It was stupid. I'm glad it hit. I'm really, really glad it hit for you. Stupid, but it was awesome and electric that it hit. awesome for me off of me saying Cam Ward is the second best quarterback in this entire draft. He made some kind of silly plays, stupid plays there in the first half, but had come back and really shown that guy that we all wanted him to be. Given the officiating was definitely in their favor for this game. There was a targeting call that probably should have been called and didn't. On that touchdown, that game-winning touchdown, there was like 3 offensive linemen, like a good 5 yards down the field. So the ACC officiating crew definitely gave Miami some favors there. But it was so much fun to watch. And again, we were all kind of watching it together there in a group call, and it was so much fun. That is what college football is all about, guys. So it was a really, really fun week. But if we're talking about fun weeks, guys, there's a lot of good matchups heading into this week. But before I get into that, Ryan, do you have anything to say on this prior week of college football? Because I remember you saying that might have been the week to really get you hooked on college football.
So, yeah, that's probably it. I'll be honest with you. That was awesome. I mean, I'm probably going to repeat a couple points that he said. So I apologize, but just to kind of give my input on it. Ohio State, man, that's my team. If you don't already know, that's why Ohio State's on top of me. 35-7 against Iowa, which, I mean, Iowa's known for having a good defense, and being able to put 35 points on them is pretty impressive. 21 of those points being right out of the gate in the third quarter as well. That's pretty awesome. And, I mean, Egbuka getting 3 touchdowns too. Pretty cool. Not only that, I mean, we've got Oregon this week. That one's going to be a lot of fun. They beat Michigan State 31-10. I do think that Oregon, I feel like I'm not as worried.
We will get into this game too.
Yeah, I'm not as worried about Oregon as I thought I would be at this point, because Ohio State's starting to get a little bit more, under their belt. But not only that, I mean, Syracuse coming out, I believe, in overtime against UNLV. God, I hate that guy so much. But I mean, that was so much fun.
Hey, you have the clone of him on your team anyways, so.
Let's see. Vanderbilt, of course. I mean, you touched on it already. That one I always root against Alabama. That was a personal thing. Tennessee fell apart. That sucked. I was really hoping for Tennessee to get that win. Only scoring 14 points against Arkansas. It seems like the SEC is really taken off this year. I mean, you take into account that Vanderbilt just beat Alabama. You take into account that Kentucky was really, really close with Georgia just a couple weeks ago.
Beat Ole Miss 2 weeks ago.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, still lots of good football being played here. Auburn, I mean, putting up a pretty solid fight in at least the first half against Georgia this week. That was a lot of fun.
A&M storming back too.
A&M, looking great against Mizzou. But, just lots of good football being played in the SEC. Looking at this too, Penn State, another team I'm not necessarily too worried about, despite the fact they're in the top 10. Miami looked awful against California, and that comeback was electric. I shouldn't have cashed out at my one parlay. I would have been up like $500. It would have been insane. But that was a fun one to watch with you. Me, you, and Matt were in the Discord going off and stuff like that about college football, which we absolutely have to do again. That was a lot of fun. Every week that Michigan loses is a good week. So that was fun. USC getting beat by Minnesota. I mean, another one that was just like, what the heck? But I mean, still, it's just college football. That's the only way I can explain it. But I mean, Iowa State, that was one of my favorite ones. I'm kind of rooting for them at this point because of my preseason, talks about who could spring into the top 25, and they're already within the top 15. But I mean, and then last but not least, despite the fact they gave me a heart attack, Indiana still winning against Northwestern 41-24. Still a lot of fun. And then, I mean, you already said Ashton Jeansy is going off, and that's somebody I'll pretty much always root for. So, dude, I'm having a lot of fun. I made a good decision finally getting into it. It's just, dude, unreal. unreal, so much fun. So yeah, that's where I'm at. That's my notes at least.
There, yeah, no. Again, you touched on the big points there. Indiana being the first bowl eligible team, you got to win 6 games to go bowling. So Indiana being the first bowl eligible team, which is awesome. We love to see it. Go Indiana. If you guys are interested in the top 25, for our audio only listeners, this would probably be a good point to maybe go over and watch it on YouTube or something like that. We have the top 25 pulled up. I'm not going to read every name. But again, you got the big followers, Alabama dropping from 1 to 7. You got some hefty risers here in A&M going from 25 to 15. Indiana now being in the top 20. Mizzou dropping 12 spots after that awful loss to A&M. Michigan dropping 14 spots. What's going on with that quarterback situation there? Wish I could give you guys an answer. But yes, if you guys want to see the top 25, go ahead, look it up yourself, or you guys can go and tune into the video version of that here as it's pulled up. So going into the games of this week, the first game that you had mentioned, and it's the first game I was going to talk about, OSU ranked 2 versus Oregon at Oregon ranked 3. I think OSU is probably going to have a field day with Oregon. To be frank, Oregon has not looked like the third best team in the country. While they are undefeated, haven't lost a game. Good for Oregon. They just haven't really impressed, and the fact that they're 3 is really saying something. But they could shock the world and beat OSU, and I would be a big fan of that one. Just like Ryan said, every day that Ohio State loses is a good day for America.
No.
Going into probably, I'll say top 5 best rivalry in all of college football. That's the Red River rivalry. Number 1 ranked Texas versus 18th ranked Oklahoma. This was a game, if we can remember this far back now at this point, 4 years ago, that Caleb Williams really put himself in the national spotlight, storming back against Texas in this game. And ever since then, he hasn't looked back. So it's going to be really, really fun. Quinton's going to be back. Quinn Ewers, your quarterback. Arch Manning did what he was supposed to do, held down the fort, continued to win. Now their guy is back. So it's going to be really, really, really fun to watch. Really excited to watch this one. Then 9th ranked Ole Miss versus 13th ranked LSU. These top 15 ranked SEC matchups are always going to be fun to watch. It's really going to come down to if Lane Kiffin's scheme is going to be able to hold up. I love Lane Kiffin's scheme as like an offense, but it's definitely a college offense. It's going to be really fun. And then a ranked opponent against an unranked opponent. You had mentioned that USC had lost already to Minnesota this past week, and then to Michigan a couple weeks prior. But they are playing Penn State. That's all the way out there in Southern Cal. And Penn State, as you guys could probably guess, plays in Pennsylvania. I'm wondering how much that time difference is going to play an effect on this game, and how tired these guys are going to be. And Penn State has not really impressed me. I've said it, and after I said it, of course, they've started looking better. We had mentioned and talked about Drew Allard a little bit on the podcast last week. But this is going to be really, really fun, and I would not be shocked if USC pulls off the upset and beats Penn State. And again, if you guys are interested in kind of the draft class, I know it's super early on. Me and Matt had talked about the top 5 quarterbacks, or at least our rankings for the top 5 quarterbacks in that last episode. 3 or 4 of those guys coming in these matchups that we talked about in Quinn. I guess, yeah, Quinn, Miller Moss, Drew Allard, and then Grant Nussmeier. Again, continue to be blown away by Grant Nussmeier. He is so much fun to watch. But if you guys enjoyed college football last week, it's going to be 10 times better this week, guys. I promise you that one. Make sure you guys are tuned in to this upcoming week of college football.
Yeah, I'm so excited, man. Let's get into our last segment. What do you say?
Yes.
It's time for America's favorite game, Weddle.
All right. So Weddle, I won last week.
Well, last time we played, I couldn't tell you when that was.
Oh, just the week prior to last week. I'm sorry.
Oh, word.
So yeah, overall the record right now, I just closed out of my note. Let me see really quick. The record right now,
Matt by a little.
Ben is up by 18. So still, I mean, what the cool. Okay. Well, this is different. What is going on? No, okay. I don't know why. Okay. Cool. All right. There we go. Let me go ahead and present.
Elite level podcasting from us, guys.
Absolutely. Let me get this off.
Again, I apologize about all of the ads. Obviously, we are not
Gotta get an ad
sponsored by
blocker.
PetSmart or Comcast.
Yeah.
So
Unless they want to and provide internet for us, that'd be dope. Anyways.
Lord knows I need it.
Ben, you want to lead us off?
Yes, we will. We'll do Grant. No, that's too specific.
You want to get
Dallas Goddard. AJ Brown. What am I talking about?
okay. All right. So
Why'd
it's
I
an
have to
NFC
complicate
guy, a little older than 27.
Tall.
He is tall.
So it's a quarterback.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Let's see, older than 27. So you're talking. Why am I
Not
blanking?
super old though.
Not who I was about to say. Stafford. No, he's older than that.
Yeah,
Way
Stafford's
older
not
than
that
that.
tall. Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy cow, this quarterback is tall. So not in the West, not in the East. I mean, it's in the South, so it can't be Baker. Andy's not that tall. And Andy's
he's
not
way
that
older.
young.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kirko's too old. Kirko's too old for that too. Derek Carr. No. The numbers. Derek Carr is number 4. Wow.
You're right.
This quarterback wears a high number 2. I guess we'll try to limit the divisions here, I guess. Jared Goff. It's Goff. It's Goff. It took us a second to get there. Yeah, it took
I
us a
almost
second
guessed
to get
him
there.
too.
Took us a second. Once I looked at the numbers and thought about the age, it was Goff.
This man's been going off. I thought for sure this time it'd be Gavon.
I'm telling you, it has probably already happened and we had just missed it. Watch it have been last week. That would have been funny.
But at least it's an NFC D lineman, so that's cool.
Well, defensive player. It doesn't have to.
Or yeah, you're right. Not D lineman.
Humne. Darius Slay.
Oh, DB.
DB.
All right. The NFC.
Shorter, not super short, but shorter DB who wears a small number.
Dang it.
Number 3 in the West. Not on the Rams.
I might have it.
I don't think not yet. I don't, at least. Guys, I'm really just blanking on any player here. I can't think of anyone on any of these teams. Diamador Lador.
How do you spell that?
Type in. I got you. Don't you worry. Diamador Lador. And of course, that did not want to come up.
Who's he play for?
Diamador Lador, the Niners, but I don't want the roster to give it away or anything.
Oh.
It's going to drive me crazy.
There we go. Lenore.
Yeah, Lenore, my bad.
All right.
Here's number 2.
Buda Baker. There we go. 2 weeks in a
There
row.
you go.
There we
Woo!
go.
I thought Buda was a little
streaking,
bit taller,
guys.
not
I'm
gonna lie.
streaking. All right.
Shorter
so,
episode. Lord knows we needed it after last week's.
Closing in, guys. Only a 17-point lead. Ben, any comments? What do you think?
Yeah, really quickly, we had touched on it, but in a more serious note, again, if you guys are in Florida, please just be safe. Do what you guys need to do.
At this point, buckle down.
Yeah, but thoughts and prayers to everyone with everything that happened with the hurricane 2 weeks ago, and the one that's now kind of just hit landfall in the last couple hours. So if you guys are out there, please just be safe. On a way lighter hearted note, and it's hard to follow that up with how like kind of touchy that is. Eagles, please win. Please,
Love
for
of
the
God,
love of
please.
my mental for my mental health. Lord knows I needed it after that Phillies series. Please win. Please win. But again, if you guys are in college football, you guys are in for a treat this week. Good to have you back, buddy. And again, hopefully everything will be all set up on all the platforms that you guys are used to watching us on Twitch, and Twitter /X. Next week, expect something a little bit different in terms of layout and drops and everything. It's going to be a little bit of a new show, and we're excited for the way that the direction that's headed towards. So
Your boy's gonna get to work, and it's gonna take a lot of effort. But I might dual screen some college football while I get it done. What do you say? But
yeah, sounds great.
Bears are back. The Bears are back, all the way back. I don't care if it's against the Panthers or not. I didn't even mention this, by the way. Caleb Williams outperformed the following quarterbacks against the Panthers. Let's see.
Oh God!
As I misspell Carolina Panthers, he outperformed. Oh boy. Okay. Justin Herbert, whoever was the Raiders quarterback, because that's easy. Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
I mean, we're on the up and up. We got one. Just saying, we got us one.
So he outperformed. He outperformed really the only one on that list that I think for me has any value at this point in time is Joey B. But Herbo just has. We knew it was gonna be a rough year. Buddy has no one to throw to, just at all.
I'm not making any excuses for anybody. It doesn't matter. You don't want to talk weapons when it's Justin Fields, so I'm not gonna do anything.
What do you mean we don't want to talk?
Caleb Williams is him, ladies and gentlemen. We want to thank Spotify for Podcasts, Radio Sports Network, and Uppercuts Grooming. We don't want to thank StreamYard. Have a good week. Thanks for tuning into the Pigskin Project. If you guys are in Florida, thanks for dedicating your time to us for whatever reason. Please, for the love of God, do something else with your time and be safe. Have a good one, guys.